Hello everyone, welcome back to Primetime Crisis. It's time for more Legends of Tomorrow talk. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Jayson.
And Jayson, what is the episode in question today, sir?
The Justice Society of America.
The Justice Society?
Society.
The Justice Society of America. So we're back at 1942 again. We seem to not be able to get out of World War II, period, even though we were told not to go back there by Rex Tyler at the end of last season. And now it looks like we're finally getting a sense at the end of this as to maybe why he said that. I imagine his death at the end of this might have, perhaps he knew that was going to happen, who knows, but like we're finally kind of seeing the ramifications of that. Although, I gotta say, what else would you do? You know, you've got Reverse Flash and Damien Dark, you know, wreaking havoc on the timeline. You're not going to go back in time and not try to stop them from creating a super soldier serum and doing the kind of, you know, typical evil Nazi thing as Hitler is going around trying to find his supernatural relics. So anyway, kind of a typical situation for this period. I didn't think it was, I didn't like it as well as last week. I thought last week was a smidge more of an original idea with dealing with the Einsteins and trying to have them build a bomb. Although, I gotta say, also, somebody left a comment last week and suggested that there'd be no reason that you would think that Einstein could build a bomb because he was just part of the Manhattan Project, and how could you expect that, you know, he or even his wife or even them together would be able to do that? And that was a really good point. But anyway, moving right along, so we get to meet the entire team. We had just Rex Tyler, our man, at the end of last season, again telling the Legends not to go back to the year 1942. And now we get to see the whole team. What'd you think of them?
They look pretty cool.
Is that pretty neat? Did you like to get to see a whole superhero team in this universe? That's kind of a new thing that we haven't really done a whole lot yet in the Arrow Flash universe, is superhero teams.
Yeah.
Of course, the Legends initially, a lot of us thought was kind of going to be this World's Justice League, and then they've ended up just being a band of time travelers. The Justice Society is a thing I figured at some point we would finally broach. We did it in Smallville. And here we've got kind of a neat, eclectic assortment of characters. Who was your favorite?
The guy who gets outside blackness.
Yeah, I had to look him up. I was not familiar with him. That's Obsidian. I thought his power was really super cool also.
Yeah.
So did Ray, I think. I forget who mentioned it, but somebody's like, oh, that power's really cool. I think it was Ray. He and most of the Justice Society members don't really get a whole lot to do. They kind of stand around and wait for orders. Stargirl, maybe a little bit more, I think it's Stargirl, gets maybe a little bit more to do than some of the others. And of course, the story is built mostly around Nate Hawthorne and his grandfather, Commander Steel, who he really looks up to and always wanted to be a superhero because of, and he has an unfortunate condition that makes him bruise really easily, and if he got a bad injury, he could bleed to death very quickly, and so he's not able to do that until, you know, we get to the end of the episode and the obvious, you know, easy super soldier serum thing happens, and then he's gonna, you know, obviously after this get to become a superhero because of that. I instantly liked him more once we started dealing with his grandfather, with the Citizen Steel thing, and I think I would find him a lot more interesting if he could find some other way to help out the team, or if he was just in. You wouldn't have brought him in otherwise, of course, but I would have found him a lot more interesting if he just came in, helped out the team in the way he's able to, and then learned that lesson that his grandfather is trying to teach him here, which is you don't have to have superpowers to be a hero, and being a hero means a lot of different things to different people. You don't have to, you know, go out and fight crime, and then he's going to get to go out and fight crime. Jayson, why don't we go ahead and do some broad strokes, go down your notes so that you get to talk a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I'll just hit a few things here and there. Go ahead.
Yeah. So in one part of the episode, when they were in that bar, I really like when Ray punches a guy.
You know,
And they stop fighting.
I did not like that at all. This show, as I keep saying, is kind of just a goofy cartoon show that pretends to be smarter than it is. And if only it would just be Superhero Fight Club, the TV show, it'd be okay. The big fight, again, it's kind of the obvious thing to do where, two superhero teams, you remember the big fight at the beginning?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really fun. Your two superhero teams have to immediately start punching without really asking a lot of questions yet, just so that we get to see that, and then it all is kind of a big misunderstanding. Although, in this particular case, the Justice Society has a lot of reasons for not liking the Legends, because, well, let's face it, they're all really bad at their job. And they, Citizen Steel keeps talking about how his team is a well-oiled machine, and how they are, well-trained and know what they're doing and have discipline, and that's all the stuff the Legends are missing. I mean, it's nice that we're talking about that, but I kind of don't think they're going to learn from it. I kind of think they're going to keep making all the same stupid mistakes they make every episode. And the one you just brought up is one of the big ones this episode. When Ray punches that Nazi, and there's a big giant bar brawl, it's because he can't bring himself to do the Nazi salute. If you're going to be a time traveler, you've got to learn how to go incognito and be okay with doing things you wouldn't usually be okay with. You got to understand that the morality for different people in different situations in different time periods is not going to be yours, and you can't be thrown off by that. All he had to do was do the Nazi salute, and he would be fine. And he was like, I can't do it. And it was played for comedy, and it was supposed to be funny, and I thought it just made him look really stupid. I thought Jefferson had the same problem when the Nazi guy sees him and says, I hope this doesn't mean we're going to have any Negro music, and then he gets really angry and almost leaps at him. Sorry, Jefferson. I mean, I know that's awful, but you're in 1942 and you're around Nazis. You can't expect people to have the same sensibilities and the same ethical ideals in the 40s that you do, especially when they're Nazis. Now, the bigger question there, of course, is how was Jefferson even allowed in that building? It's a Nazi party. Not the Nazi party, but a party of Nazis. Jason, you won't understand what I'm talking about right now, but of his race with ethnic cleansing, I don't think there's any way he would be allowed in that building. I don't understand that. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. This show has always been really, really unsmart about those things. But anyway, what else you want to talk about, kid?
Well, and I like the question, Ray, why did you have to punch him?
Well, that's a good question. I have the same question. What else?
Yeah, I like when Vixen and Ray are in a house tied up.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You like that part?
Yeah.
Do you like the new Vixen?
Yeah.
I think she is serviceable. She might grow on me and get really cool and interesting later. I still don't like growing this team too big. It seems like we're only going to add 2 more people. I guess we had a couple of slots. Did we just have 2 slots? No, we had 3 or 4 slots open. So I guess it is cool if we're not growing it any more than Steel and a Citizen or Commander Steel, whatever he'll end up calling himself, and the new Vixen, but I still like the size of the team right now, and I kind of wish we didn't feel the need to grow it any more than that. Apparently, Vixen is supposed to be added to this cast and end up being a regular character, Jason.
Yeah. I like when Sarah is angry a lot in this episode.
Well, Sarah's angry a lot in general, and frankly, if you had to deal with all these bozos all the time, you probably would be too. The thing with Sarah is, finally, we get to see her become the leader of the team.
Yeah.
And that's great. What's stupid is how long it takes for everyone to realize that she is the obvious, and I don't even think it takes them that long to realize it. I think they're just kind of humoring Stein. First of all, Stein is the most selfish person in the show. I complain about him all the time. At least they're consistent with some of this stuff. I mean, I don't want them to be consistent with that. I want him to, grow and learn and be a smarter person. But he is always so out for himself and just kind of pretends like he's not. And he, he's the last person on Earth that makes sense to be the leader of this team. And of course, he comes to realize that he's like, well, I'm analytical, but I'm not a tactician. Yeah, no kidding. And what's hilarious when Sarah puts him in charge, pretty much just because he really wants it. He's like, well, I've got the experience, and so he gets put in charge. What's hilarious about that is everyone is questioning whether or not that's a good idea. Like, the whole team is like, I don't know. And then Sarah says, yeah, sure, Stein, you can have it. And then everybody goes, oh, okay. So Sarah's already in charge.
Yeah, that was in my notes.
Yeah. Sarah was in charge basically the whole time, but the problem is, everybody was already deferring to her, so why isn't she automatically in charge? Furthermore, how is this a conversation we didn't have before we went back to 1942?
Yeah.
That's preposterous. Like, who the captain of the ship is going to be when we're going on all these time travel missions is kind of important. You bunch of idiotic airheads in the show. It's hilarious. And so, but finally, we get Captain Sarah. That's what I was really wanting. I imagine it's not going to be too terribly long before they end up finding Rip Hunter again. I hope she gets to lead for a while, and I hope she gets to, shape her teammates up a little bit and get them a little bit smarter and more mature. But then she's also sometimes played as a little bit of an idiot. She's not as dumb as everybody else, but they still do the thing with her where they'll go to a time period and just to play for comedy, she'll do things that would potentially really mess up the timeline in a horrible way, and she doesn't care because, well, they've all got plot armor. Anyway, what else have you got?
Well, in the Justice Society of America, there's a guy who thinks he's not a hero, but he is.
Who are we talking about? A guy who thinks he's not a hero?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it's been a couple days since we've watched this, so I don't remember exactly what you're talking about. Kind of the theme of this episode is supposed to be what the definition of a superhero is. Not just a hero, but a superhero. Can you call yourself a hero and be on these kinds of super teams if you don't have superpowers? And we're kind of paralleling Ray Palmer with Nate. And again, it doesn't exactly work. Although, I guess now that I'm thinking about it, I like the parallel by the end. I like the reversal where one of them does the heroic thing and gets rewarded for it. We don't know this yet, but it's pretty obvious that's what's going to happen, where Nate injects himself. He's going to get superpowers. Meanwhile, Ray is feeling inadequate again, and I just feel like he's gone through this character arc a few times now. I don't know why he feels pointless again, but Ray is feeling inadequate because he doesn't have superpowers, and he almost injects himself at the end in order to help out and save the day. And he ends up not having to inject himself, and so he doesn't get to be super powered, but he realizes that, he is the Atom, and so he doesn't need to be. And again, I just feel like he's kind of been through this before.
Yeah, and they kind of created an evil DC Hulk.
You think he looks kind of like the Hulk?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's sort of like a smaller version of the Abomination.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's specifically a comic book character or not, but yeah, we make this super soldier guy, and I didn't think the CG there looked particularly good, especially because we had a dinosaur last episode that looked pretty great for, CW TV budget stuff. But it's hard to do human faces, and as big as he was and stuff, I guess they decided that he should be CG instead of using makeup. I would have honestly gone with prosthetics over what they did, but...
Yeah.
That's just me.
Yeah, and the Reverse Flash gets somebody at the end.
Yeah, the Reverse Flash kills Rex Tyler at the end. That's our man. That's the guy who told us not to go back to 1942.
Oh.
And he, and that is kind of setting things in motion for the future. What it looks like they're doing, and I don't love this, and I hope it doesn't last very long, is they're probably gonna have Vixen think that the Legends are to blame for killing Rex Tyler because he whispers time travelers or time traveler, I forget, before he dies. And so she's probably going to think that it's their fault because they're the only time travelers that she's met. And you'll have another misunderstanding thing, and then she'll learn that it really wasn't them. And, if we could use that to teach them a lesson because they're not real discreet, they're not real smart about what they're doing, and they don't come off as trustworthy, then that would be one thing, but that's probably not what we're going to do, and it's likely that it'll just stretch things out and create kind of forced drama. You have any other notes?
I have a Lego figure of one of the Justice of Society.
Oh, do you? Who is it?
That blue guy? Can't remember his name.
Yeah.
The one who was in that one of those Justice League.
I think it's somebody who looks like that, but it's not the same person.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll look that up a little bit later, okay?
Yeah.
One of my big issues with this episode is just kind of an issue that I have a lot with the show, which is we are still playing, and I don't mean to be a broken record, but it just, there's no internal logic. It makes it impossible to take it seriously when it's asking me to take it seriously. We're still playing really fast and loose with how much time it takes for things to change. So, anytime in the show we don't want to alter the timeline when something would alter it, we just say, oh, it takes time. And then sometimes we fix it and sometimes just nothing happens. This time we have those dog tags, I think with I forget with who. Is it Nate? Yeah. We have the dog tags that his grandfather passed to his father, I think passed to him if memory serves, and they disappear because they changed the timeline. First of all, that happens almost instantaneously. It always drives me crazy when that happens because it goes against the rules we've set up, which are vague and confusing in the first place. And secondly, the dog tags disappear, so they never got to him and they never existed, but he still remembers them. Why? Why is it that some things are affected when we change the timeline and some things aren't? Now, sometimes you'll do time travel where you'll go back in time and you're not affected because you're kind of out of the time stream where it's a paradox, so it doesn't change you. But I don't think that's the kind of time travel we're really dealing with. So it's supposed to take time, but it would happen to you, and if those disappear, then wouldn't you not remember it, and wouldn't it alter what got you sent back in time in the first place, maybe? I don't know. I don't want to overthink it because clearly the people writing this aren't thinking about that stuff real hard either, but that kind of thing drives me absolutely bonkers. Let me just see if there's anything else I want to mention. Stein pretends to be Hitler's favorite singer, which is kind of amusing, and he has a lovely singing voice, and I thought it was really cool to get to see that, and that he got to do that. We know there's going to be a musical episode at some point with these shows, and I hope he gets to sing in it because he's a good singer. But this idea that he's able to say, I'm not as tall as people think I am is kind of ridiculous. At the same time, I did think it was really fun that Sarah immediately sits down when the Nazi guy is like, hey, he's, I forget his name, and it's a real historical person, singer. He's 6 feet something tall, and Sarah immediately sits down because she's taller than Stein, and I thought that was pretty great. Anyway, I honestly don't have a lot else to say about this one. It's kind of back to par for the course for my money. The action, a lot of it is really fun. I'm not in love with Vixen yet. Nate is growing on me, but as I said, I kind of wish he was never getting powers. I think that would be a wonderful lesson for somebody in this universe to have to learn. And he was interesting for 2 seconds because of that. And yay, Sarah's the leader. That's kind of my big takeaway from this. The Justice Society itself, I wish some of those guys, like I said, got a little bit more to do, and I was surprised that it wasn't played for a little bit more nostalgia. The idea, by the way, although I do love this, Jason, the idea that they are a secret organization, but they wear super flamboyant, colorful costumes is really funny. Like, nobody knows about them, which is why you have Arrow in season 1 and nobody really thinking about or knowing about superheroes, because they're a secret society. But I think that's pretty funny because they're running around in these really bright costumes. This show is not good at all at giving people distinct voices, and especially in making them sound like they come from the time period they come from. I feel like we really dropped the ball on that here. And anyway, that's about it for me this time. Anything else you want to mention, Jason?
One other thing.
Yeah, sure.
The guy with sunglasses is cool.
Is he cool?
Yeah.
The guy with sunglasses. Is that I don't know who we're talking about.
The guy that has like these black glasses on
Is that
his
Obsidian again? Or are we talking about something else? Okay, well anyway. Everybody, thanks a lot for watching. We sure appreciate it. We'll see you again next week for more Legends of Tomorrow. I am Captain Logan.
And I'm Jason.
Thanks for watching.